While Donald Trump was spewing out his vacuous phrases in Henderson, Nevada, none other than Hulk Hogan went on Jesse Waters' show and dropped a bombshell about Trump's plan for a second administration. Now, before we jump into this, can I just point out the irony in Donald Trump always saying that Democrats rely too much on celebrity name recognition when, number one, Donald Trump's entire political career is built off being a celebrity, and number two, he'll say, who's Obama, who's Eminem, who's Beyonce? We have people like Kid Rock, Hulk Hogan, blah, 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 Forgiato Blow. It's absolutely sad, and with 5 days to go, we have no time to waste. Make sure you drop a like, make sure you subscribe, and let's jump right in with this first clip of Donald Trump just being a real ray of sunshine. I mean, this man's rallies are so depressing, and notice how the crowd is dead in the background.
They've taken your money and thrown open your borders to criminals and terrorists, flooded your towns with deadly drugs and death, and given your jobs to illegal migrants, and sent our blood and treasure to fight stupid foreign wars in places and countries that you've never even heard of.
Someone in the reply said, wow, with the way he's talking, you think stock markets would be at all-time lows, we'd have the highest inflation in the world, and real wages would be suffering, but it's the exact opposite. The stock market has been hitting all-time highs this week, this month, ever since Biden took office, and yes, inflation hurts. It hurts when things get more expensive. I don't like it either. Gas prices being more expensive sucked, but everything is starting to revert back to the mean now, and we don't want to see deflation. I want you to watch this clip where Donald Trump's crowd is overall just extremely dead in Henderson, Nevada.
Loaded up with migrants that they're dropping all over our country. The cartel's profits have soared from relatively minor numbers to $13 billion from human trafficking alone under border czar. She doesn't want to be called border czar. She was the border czar, but you know what?
Dude, the crowd is totally dead. Nobody in the background cares. Also, note the lack of diversity. Complete lack of diversity in the background. This lady is on her phone, and you can just compare that to VP Harris's rallies, where even if she does have Beyonce there, good. They're all cheering. They're all having a good time. There's more diversity. Donald Trump's crowds and rallies are slowly dying, and does anybody else feel the vibe shift? I don't want to get too cocky, and while you guys are watching, I do want to say, please vote. Please get your friends and family to vote, and let me know in the comment section if you voted. But I do want to say, I felt a little bit of a vibe shift the past few days. I'm hoping that we can pull out this win. Here's Donald Trump saying that he wants to sue the Kamala Harris campaign. He's also said he wants to sue ABC and CBS and strip their broadcast licensing away.
He talks about Project 2025 all the time. I have nothing to do with it. I've said it every way possible. I even said to a very good lawyer, am I allowed to sue them for continuously? We put it in writing. We said to...
You have nothing to do with it. It's just a coincidence that Project 2025 says the name Donald Trump over 300 times, that 80% of the authors worked in your first administration and would work in your second administration, that J.D. Vance wrote the foreword for the author of Project 2025, that the basis of Project 2025 is a Schedule F executive order, something you did in your first term, that you have speakers at your rallies all the time, like Tom Homan, all of these people that contributed and wrote Project 2025. I mean, I could go down the list, but the biggest silver bullet is that Donald Trump went on stage at a Heritage Foundation event and said, verbatim, the Heritage Foundation is writing a plan that will guide my policy in a second administration, as they have since the Reagan administration, and that is true historically, and now he wants to walk that back. Here's Donald Trump ranting and raving about God knows what. Then I'll show you this Hulk Hogan clip.
Sir, you'll never get the name truth, sir. That's a term that you will never get. I said, and you ideally need 5 letters, right? I said, wouldn't truth be great? They said, sir, you won't get it, you won't get it. I said, check. Well, sir, I will, but sir, you're not going to get it. I said, check. And they came back, sir, it was available and we bought it for $2,000. Can you believe it?
Truth is the most ironic name for someone who's constantly bombarding the informational landscape with lies. Also, listen to how violent his last check is. It sounds like the Bene Gesserit voice from Dune. Listen.
I said, check. Well, sir, I will, but sir, you're not going to get it. I said, check.
That was violent and loud.
And they came back, sir, it was available and we bought it for $2,000. Can you believe it?
This man is losing all of his charisma. He also posted on Truth Social just today a screenshot of something that says, Mark Cuban, a really dumb guy who thinks he's hot stuff, but he's absolutely nothing, is now out there saying that I don't surround myself with strong women. Actually, he's very wrong. I surround myself with the strongest of women, with the understanding that all women are great, whether strong or not. This honestly reads like a kindergartner wrote it. Also, why is it a screenshot of something written somewhere else? He said, this guy is such a fool. He's constantly on television randomly being capitalized, being critical, only for the reason that I tuned him out because while president, he called incessantly. This is such a desperate message. Major loser, he writes in all caps. Let's see who has a loser administration. Let's see what Jesse Waters says to Hulk Hogan.
If Trump wins, are you going to play any role? I know RFK Jr. is talking about making America healthy again. Is Hulk going to make America tough again, strong again? Are you going to have any role?
Well, you know, brother, in the wrestling business, when you're getting ready to draw some big money, you got to shoot an angle, put some hot spice on the feud. And when I had Trump in the back of the garden, I said, you know something? This Robert Kennedy Jr., he's on to something with nutrition. But if you tag team us up as the mega powers, you know, the MAGA powers, there you go,
Yeah.
the MAGA powers, RFK Kennedy Jr. and Hulk Hogan, he could get him eat the right food, and I could get all of our kids in shape, brother.
Okay, he's kind of joking, but this is absolutely terrifying. Number one, these are like my two last brain cells trying to make something happen after a long day of work. But number two, RFK Jr. is actually going to be in charge of the health administration. Elon Musk would actually be in charge of our regulatory bodies, and I wouldn't be surprised if Hulk Hogan is not actually kidding. He has been relentlessly campaigning for Trump, and Trump usually promises something in return, and Trump wasn't kidding about RFK Jr. Really quickly, listen to this clip, then I'll loop it back in.
Robert F. Kennedy Jr. we have. And he's going to work on health and women's health and all of the different reasons, because we're not really a wealthy or a healthy country.
Okay, RFK Jr. is going to work on women's health, and then Hulk Hogan is going to work on kids' health. But here is a clip of RFK Jr. being asked at the Iowa State Fair about abortion, and he basically says he would sign a national abortion ban in a few words.
So you would cap it at 15 weeks?
Yes.
Or 21
Yes.
weeks?
Yeah, for 3 months.
So 3 months. You would sign a federal cap on that?
Yes, I would.
Okay.
He would sign a federal cap, and this is the man that Donald Trump is going to put in charge of women. Meanwhile, Donald Trump at his rally just a few hours ago was talking about IVF like this. And keep in mind, this guy spoke for 2 or 3 hours, just word vomiting.
Oh, he doesn't. No, she lies about everything. IVF, she lies. I feel like I'm the father of IVF. She lies about everything.
The father of IVF, such an odd thing to say. Let's check in on VP Harris tonight.
Donald Trump's not done. Did anybody hear what he had to say just yesterday? And I'll tell you, it was outrageous. So he said on the issue of freedom of choice, reproductive freedom, he said that he will do what he wants because, quote, this is his perspective, he will do it whether the women like it or not. Whether the women like it or not. Can you imagine? And this is not the first time he has told us. He does not believe women should have authority or agency over their own bodies. This is the same person who said that women should be punished for their choices. And what we know is we know what we are seeing. This is someone who simply does not respect the freedom of women or the intelligence of women to make decisions about their own lives. And we know that what he has planned includes a national abortion ban, restricting access to birth control, putting IVF treatments at risk, and forcing states to monitor women's pregnancies. You don't have to take my word for it. Google Project 2025.
Great stuff. And the Project 2025 call out. The Kamala Rapid Response Team just posted this meme a bit ago. It says, I told women I will be their protector. They said, sir, please don't say that. It's inappropriate. Well, I'm going to do it whether the women like it or not. And then you see, again, just a bunch of white people in the background, the lack of diversity. You can't win with a simply white electorate, but that's what Donald Donald Trump is trying to do. Here's a clip of a guy behind Donald Trump making faces as he's ranting about immigration. I'm going to mute it because nobody wants to hear Donald Trump, but zoom in on this guy right here. Look at him making faces in the background. Wow, really good one. Clever joke, buddy. Either way, if you enjoyed this video, if you appreciate what I do, drop a like, subscribe. We're trying to get to 1 million subscribers by the end of the year. Double check and make sure you're subscribed. Have a great rest of your day, and peace out.